me have a screen. Hey, sorry. Good morning. Good morning. How are all of you? Sorry, like you have when like does anyone else like when they're on their tablet responding to people or any correspondence like you completely zone out? Like I don't know why I do that, but like I guess I have this thing, I don't know if anyone else has it. My husband and my daughter, Hope, definitely don't have it. If I have too many notifications, it drives me nuts. So I go through each notification real quick, see if I've already replied to it or like done it, and then I clear them out. So if I see that there's notifications on my tablet, it's going to drive me bonkers until they're all like situated. And my husband and my daughter, Hope, doesn't have that. Like, they're a person that could have a million tabs open, have 100 notifications, and it doesn't phase them. It it bugs me so much. I don't know why. Good morning. So yeah, I was going through like seeing like people that liked or comment something on my Instagram or if there was like a Facebook notification or something. Yeah, right? Like if it's there and I see it, I'm like, I got to clear it, like, I wanna make before I clear it, I have to make sure that I, like, responded to the person or I see what I was tagged in or something, then I clear it, and then it's like a vicious cycle because I can be looking down for, like, minutes on end. The only reason why I know to look up is because I have kids. Generally, they're, like, either yelling or bickering with one another or playing games and making some kind of sound, so I look up and I'm like, "Okay, you guys are doing blah, blah, blah." So, yeah. Okay, so all right, I'm glad I'm not the only one because like my husband, like he'll give me his phone and he'll be like, "Why do you have like 50 million like inboxes in your on your Gmail?" He's like, "Yeah, it doesn't really bug me. Only one I get a notification if it's from you." And I'm like, "What? What about these other ones? What if it's our CPA? What if it's our homeowners association? What if it's like from the school?" He's like, "Yeah, like if it's recent, I'll look through it, but if it's old, like if it seems like it's spam, I just like leave it there." And I'm like, "You have like 50,000 missed." And he's like, "Yeah, it doesn't really bug me." And like he has like a million apps open at one time, a million browsers open at one time, and it literally gives me anxiety. I don't know how they do it, and my daughter, the middle child is like that. I think the oldest is a little bit more like me, like, they don't like having a lot of apps open at one time. My son, I noticed that he only if he's playing one game, everything else is closed. So but, like, yeah, I don't understand Kindle and Hope with that. Like, it drives me I look at him before I go to bed, and generally, when I'm Captain's log is, like, basically me telling you what I'm gonna do for the day. So once I get off of here, I'm generally looking at anything that I haven't had correspondence with, looking at posts in my Patreon and things like that. And then if I ordered any supplies or I'm expecting any mail, I go track stuff real quick. Because you know the mail be crazy right now, no matter what postal service you're using. So I do that and then I, work. Yeah. I don't know. Um, Jelly, I don't know. So, I don't know. But yeah, so I've been tracking the weather, and it looks like my neighbors to the south are having like kind of a mild heat wave or like a heat up. Like you guys are gonna be like in the 70s today. We're gonna be 44. Like we thought we were warm at 44. What? You guys are gonna be able to wear flip-flops in some parts of the country today. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all. Just sucks that I got to see my breath this morning when I took my kid to school. and you get to wear chanclas. It's okay. So, yeah, I seen that. I was watching Max Velocity, and he was talking about, the different storm systems that are coming in from La Nina, and that we're gonna have this boomerang warmth where it's warm today and tomorrow, and then it's gonna set us up for next week, I guess around Valentine's Day. Um, and it may be like freezing temps around that time and snow dumps. And I'm like, this is how people get sick. I know there's like no proven science that you from hot to cold or whatever you get sick, but like if it's like been written down in history and it's been passed on generation and generation that you can't go outside with wet hair, it's bad to go from hot and cold. Why ignore our ancestors when they tell us that? I mean, some things, like, can't be just explained away with science. I'm sorry, like, I've been told all my life you can't go like, if it's cold outside, you can't go out with hair and all that stuff, like, this is how you get sick, and, like, you tell a doctor and they roll their eyes in the back of their head, but I'm saying that it's been something that's been taught from generation to generation. There has to be some kind of wacky truth behind it. So, this is how I think people get sick. You have 70-degree weather, and then all of a sudden, you're, like, 2 days later in the 30s. That is just traumatic on your body. Morning. Oh my goodness, you found punch protection and got them free. Oh, wow, that's good. Good morning, Linda, Arnetta, and Christine. Yeah, like you'd be surprised. Like Home Depot and Lowe's is low key my one of my favorite spots to buy stuff for my sewing room, not just for like decorations and hanging stuff up, but like you could buy D rings and rectangle rings that are great quality. And the reason why they're great quality is they're usually meant for something in the house. They're like they're not gonna come apart. If you're, like, stuck and you can't go and buy something online because 'cause it'll take days, mosey on down to a Lowe's or, a Home Depot because they do have rectangle rings, tri-gliders, and oval rings, and all kinds of hardware that we make for bags, and they're relatively inexpensive, like 25 cents each or whatever, and I'm there all the time. I have bought if I'm having like a carpenter bag and it needs extremely stiff bottom base, sometimes I buy like flooring stuff that's really sticky that can stick to the bottom after I turn the bag and put purse feet in it. Man, chef's kiss, like rigid base. Home Depot's like been like a I'm more Lowe's. I usually go to Lowe's because it's next to the Costco, but like I'm a total like I'm in that area because you could buy so much stuff for bags, and people are just you just have to open your horizon and you'll start seeing things and you'll be like, "Wait a minute, I can use this." So, and then, like, if you can get your rubber mats if you do, like, punching, if you use punches like I do, in Patreon, I show them a lot, like, I use the Georgia Girl Stitch credit card punch or, like, round corners or strap ends. I have a rubber mat that I use on the bottom. So it's a rubber mat, an anvil, and a punching table, like a punching block, a cutter block. All 3 things you can get at Home Depot or Lowe's. The way my wacky formula works is that I punch, which my punches look my punch boards are utterly destroyed. You can tell that they're well used. The metal and the rubber mat uses the reverberation from me hitting back to like kind of send a shock back, and it helps tremendously with the cutting. I'm not striking as hard or as much because it's all getting contained with it. And the rubber mats at Lowe's, it cost me 50 cents and it's a good like 12 by 12. And my anvil, my metal anvil, it was cut from them and it's super heavy. Like it's super heavy, and I think it cost me like $3. So you'll be very surprised at what you can get at like Lowe's and Home Depot that you can use on a day-to-day basis for bag making. Yeah. I mean, I'm yes, and you're right. But you know how people it's gonna be 44 degrees here, but like in our friends like Virginia, um, North Carolina, Alabama, and all that stuff is supposed to be in almost the 60s and 70s for the next 2 days. And it just shows you how crazy one weather is. Two, just like you go outside, you're enjoying it. And I'm wondering if people's allergies are gonna flare up. Because generally when the heat is up, like seasons like when it's warmer, plants start blooming and it causes like a lot of like allergies to flare up. And I'm like, I wonder how many like plants are going to try to bloom because it's a fall spring. And I always worried about that because now, ever since my neighbor told me about not trimming my trees or trimming plants in the winter, I'm like really like watching other people or like gardeners and other people do it. And you can see when a plant tries to grow and bloom in winter and it gets severely damaged. It's like really crazy stuff that I never even thought about. And now you're like hyper aware of it because someone like advised you and taught you something that you never knew. I always like that. I love learning something new every day. Morning. Yeah, so very true. There you can, and we're still in the cold and flu and the flu season, so it should be interesting. But like, yeah, La Nina is playing dirty, especially with like the south, southeast, and north and northeast, in like in the Ohio Valley. First, I'm really happy that California is getting water, but I'm also very concerned. Like everyone's like, oh, bless them, they got the water that they need, and I'm like, if you're from California, you know because of all the how desolated and how destroyed it is. If they get too much water, there's going to be mudslides and it's going to start causing another tragedy that they cannot handle right now. If they get too much water, it's going to cause another devastation for it. And because it doesn't rain in California, it's not meant for that. Yes, my grandma whenever I was sick and if it was raining, she would rub like Vicks Vapor Rub on my feet and then put socks on because she thought if you were sick and it was raining, you can get walking pneumonia. I know that's not true, but whenever I'm really sick and it's cold outside, I do put Vicks on my feet. It does absolutely nothing except like tingle. It makes me think of her, so that makes me feel better, if that makes sense. But I love listening to like there has to be like I said, just because it's not proven by science, and there's tons of things that are not proven by science, doesn't mean it's not real. So like if your ancestors told you not to do XYZ, like I was told all my life not to not to go outside with wet hair. Like so like especially in the winter or fall. So it's weirdly something that I follow. I usually wash my hair on like Sundays, my girl's hair, and we do it in the afternoon and daytime. So if we go out in the evening or anything, that our hair is fully dry. Um, it's just something they always told me. I know, Nikki. Oh god, Nikki, you don't even know. Like, it's not even like my son was watching it with me. My son's gonna be 13 in March, and he was like excited because Mike, he likes Velocity, Velocity or Mike Velocity, and so they showed the map. And the thing is like Maryland is so small that we have to look for the state above or below us just to really pay attention to it. So the heat wave is like everything below us. And he was like, "So we're not gonna be in the 70 degrees today?" I was like, "No, no, Bubbas, we're not gonna be." Because he wanted to play basketball with like, 'cause after school they'll play basketball, and like if it's under 40, like even if it's under 30 or 40, the police will be like, "You guys should get home. It's too cold. You're gonna work up a sweat, and it's really cold outside." Like, and there's not an indoor basketball court, like, that's walkable distance. So I was like, "No, I'm sorry." And I was like, if we were in Virginia, it's supposed to be nice and warm today." So he was like, he was super bummed. He's like, "Why do they get to have warm weather?" I was like, "I don't know. I'm not the weather. Go ask La Nina." And then I had to explain La Nina and El Nino to him. And then he was like, "Oh, so he was understanding because my family knows I've always been enthralled with the weather. The weather is so interesting to me because it's something that we as man can never control. Like I think that's why the world is always frozen when something happens because we have no control over it. Um, so like I don't know, I always like to watch stuff on it. And I don't know, 60 right now. Ooh, supposed to be. Nikki, what's your high supposed to be today? I know, Alabama, I was one of those states that I heard that it's gonna be warmer today. But you guys, the thing that's freaking me out is this cold front that's gonna be blowing in from Canada might give us those freezing temps like we had in January, and they said, and I quote, "It'll be the coldest it'll be the coldest days that we ever seen in winter." I was like, "Excuse me?" Like, "What did you say, sir? We've done that. We've already had the coldest days." Yeah. It's 11. Oh, yeah, that's blinding cold. That's 11? 26 in Oregon. Okay. Okay, so and Arnetta said it was 43. I'm just gonna double check over here. It was pretty it was pretty chilly when I walked out, but not yeah, so it's no, okay, got it, okay. It is 43 and our high is supposed to be 49. But last yesterday our high was supposed to be 52. And my kids came home and they were, like, bundled up. I'm like, "It's 52 degrees," and, like, they were like, "It does not feel." She was like, "My kids are now." They said there's, like, a certain kinda cold in the air that it did not feel like it was 50 degrees, and they were like, "I wanted to wear my jacket," and, like, trust me, you know kids, the minute they can strip out of their jacket, they will. Like, they try to strip out of their jacket when it's not even cold. You're like, "Get your jacket on, it's freezing outside, you're going to die from being cold." Um they were both of them said there was, like, some kinda nip or something in the air that made it cold. See? Oh my god. I hate the it's the winds usually, yeah, the wind nothing's worse than when it's, like, freezing outside and then the winds come, you're like, "Shit." Now, California has the Santa Ana winds, and they're beautiful, but they cause all kind of harms, like like mentally, physically, emotionally. You have the fires, of course. Then you have people that they have allergic reaction because of Santa Ana's bringing pollen and dust from all over California. And then there is like the emotional stage and like mental stage. Some people battle with severe depression when the Santa Ana winds come. It's a very interesting topic. You guys got to go to there's like this big UCLA topic about this every single year. Um, but the biggest thing is they cause fires. Like it's the Santa Ana winds do that. So when I moved to Arizona, there was not really any wind issues. It just the desert cold is extremely cold. Like it feels like someone, like Raiden from Mortal Kombat when he was like, "Get over here," and he had like the ice dude. Yeah, I imagine that's what his power felt like when an icicle went through you. It's just, like, bitterly cold, like, it just feels like it's killing you slowly, like ice, like, slices. It's just a different kinda cold. A desert cold is nothing to play with. That's why I'm always on talking about be kind to everybody else's weather because what may be cold for you may not be cold for someone else and what's hot for somebody else may not be hot for you because like I lived in Arizona. I called it aka the devil's playground where some days were like 120 degrees outside. In Maryland where I live it barely even reaches 100 degrees, like barely reaches 100 degrees in the summer. This summer was unprecedented. Before that, it was like 4 days out of the 13 days I was here that it hit 100 degrees. So, it's different for each place. Like in California, you're used to like 110, 115 or whatever. You're used to that, but and you're not really used to cold days. So what's cold for them is not necessarily cold for us. My sister will be saying, "Oh my God, it's so cold and it's 60 degrees." And like I can easily be like 60 degrees is like flip-flop weather. We can wear just jeans and t-shirts, but we live in different climates. We have different temperatures. So like our bodies adjust to things differently. Um but yeah, that winter cold in Arizona, yeah, don't do it. Don't make fun of it unless you experience it. It is not like any other cold. And the only time and I got another shock of that when I went to So Magical in Texas. So I stayed at my friend's house and we were driving back and forth to there. And somehow, some way I got that's the weekend that it decided to be balls to the wall cold. That cold reminded me so much of Arizona wasn't even funny. It's like you can never get warm, no matter if you drink hot coffee, eat hot soup, or whatever. It's like you can never get warm. And I just can't stand that cold. It's so dry, like your skin is suffering. Like it feels like the ice is taking a layer of your skin off. It's just so dry and it's just too much. Um, so everyone has like a different version. Yes, Sub-Zero was like, "Get over here." I used to play Mortal Kombat a lot. Yeah, and so, like, the thing and so there was no wind in Arizona. When I moved out here, there is sometimes wind. It's not a lot, but when it comes and if it's cold, it is a monster. However, if it's summer or spring and when it comes, it brings cool air. I have never experienced that. That's why summers and springs out here are not bad to me. It's the humidity. It's not the heat, it's humidity. And like I that's the same thing when I when I went to Quitman, Texas, I anyone that was there with me, you guys can ask Lauren. I had a permanent sweat mustache. Like it was just I was like there's nothing I can do. It's nothing I can do. I'm not used to it. And my hair was still, like, poofy, but it was, like, because of the sweat, it was, like it was, like, flat here and just poofy everywhere. So there's nothing I can do. And then same thing when I went to Lawrence, I did not expect that humidity in April, and I was like, I thought, Columbia was humid. No, I was mistaken. Again, say when I go over there, my hair was like poof afro and permanent sweat mustache. And I'm like, damn, no one I don't see anybody else having a sweat mustache. Why do I have? So yeah, everybody has different things. So that's what my end of my short story. 84 low be in Florida. Ooh, you are literally wearing shorts and tank tops today. I would go to the beach. I'm not gonna even lie. Before the cold comes in, I would go to the beach. I would frolic in the water and be like, ha ha ha, everywhere part of the world, we're having fun. Early summer. And then like come in, take a shower, make sure you get all the ocean out of you, and then like just get prepared for like another cold front. But you always have that video to remind you that you had a summer day in winter. Yeah. You just put shorts on yesterday after school. See? That's some crazy stuff. My kids I thought for sure my son was gonna come home with no jacket. He was like, "No, dude, it was cold. There's something in the air that's making it cold." So, what I'm still doing, Julie, is I still haven't finished my moon weight. I cut out everything. I'm gonna adhere all the interfacing in here today. I printed on my laser all these little cool tags, and I'm going to actually sew it down. Yesterday, I had a really good conversation with the person I'm interviewing for Patreon yesterday, and we were just time flew. Like time flew. Like I this person is just so unbelievably cool. Time flew, and then when I was done speaking with them, I like had another couple conference calls and then my kids were home, so I just like wrapped it up for the day because I was gonna sew, but I wrapped it up for the day and called it a day. Good morning, Yvonne. Yeah, Yvonne is a ride or die. I just want you to know that. Texas humidity. Okay, so I did. I did not expect it was in May, so it wasn't that hot, but in like straight up in Quitman, Texas, I just had like a sweat mustache and I was just like I just became one with it. I just I was and I have never I'm not a dry shampoo girl because no, I have a lot of volume as you can see. Right. But because I was sweating so much in my scalp, it was just like it was so I had to start spraying dry shampoo in my hair so that way it can alleviate the moisture and all things that go on with Quitman, Texas. You went to Tandy Leather with Diane yesterday? Oh, yeah. 3 hides? Yeah, Julie, I need you to message me with pictures of the hides. I'm nosy like that because the thing is with Tandy Leather, it's not like I can get your hides at my area, so it's really like a one of a kind thing, so I'm nosy. I'm always like, if I got hides at my area, I will show you because the chances are they may not be in your area. You have plans on making the Aries with the flap? Yeah, get do that one. I have a plan for that one. But I wanna make the Gabriella this week, and then I'll make another Aries with a flap. Hey, Lynette. Yeah, so I like yeah, Tandy I still think my favorite Tandy Leather is the one in North Carolina. Those people are just so incredibly knowledgeable, very nice, and the fact that they handled all of us in that small little shop with a million questions just just showed their character. Like, I haven't been able to get to mine because mine's is the way to the bridge, and, like, I don't so, like, they tell you to, like, you can buy stuff online that's in from the shop. I just the bridge is not that place you can't get to it. So, I haven't had a chance to get to mine. You wanna do the Aries with the extra pockets and a modified D-ring binding, yeah. Do that, like, all the pockets are great. I all the pockets are great, and then the D-ring thing is a game changer because then you're not a lot of people even though Shannon has, like, a short where she shows you, like, she kinda hand cuts out her first D-rings, the 2 D-rings, and then she sews on, so she has, like, the template of the D-ring on here, the first one, and then she puts it on the fabric, and then she sews around it, and then she cuts it out, which to me is that makes the most sense because there's no stretching. Even if you have both, SVG files, you can have a sense of stretching and have overage. If you sew it on ahead of time, then together on with one template and one on, you have less of a chance of stretching. Most most vinyl stretch. So, and even some leathers can stretch. So she has that, and then she edge paints. But this is a part that I read and people tell me that the those parts came out a little wonky. This it can help eliminate that by having the D-ring connector on the bottom. I think the binding is really cool too. I love the drop-in lining. I thought the drop-in lining was really dope because it's not a very big bag, so you can get her done. As long as you get all 4 points matched up, you're good. You're good you're good to go. And birthing is always a nice option as well. Oh, yeah, my Gabriella is gonna be very interesting. I wrote down notes and what I wanna do, so I think I'm gonna start that one tomorrow, and hopefully I'll be finished with all of that before Friday. Drop-in lining, I'm here for it. I love drop-in linings. I just it makes life easier for me, and again, I'm that weird freak of nature that I trust my bobbin. I check my tension before each time I sew a project with various different like, if I know at one point I'm gonna have this amount of fabric, I will try it with this, and I always check my bobbin tension. If it looks just as good or better, then I'm good. But Lynn from, Sewing Patterns with Mrs. H, she loves to take her, turn the bag inside out, so the exterior's on the inside and the lining's facing out, and then she top stitches that way too. So when there's a will, there's definitely a way. So, I think the Gabrielle is a really fun bag. I have I definitely have some modifications already planned for it, and I just need to cut everything out and just not be too excited because when I get too excited, I make a lot of errors. So, that's my plan. So, after this moon wake, that's what I plan on making, and then I have a lot of things else to cut out. So, it should be fun. Alrighty, well, I'm going to head off so that way I can stuff my face with some yogurt and then finish. You okay? It's all you really yeah, that's a really good fair point. Like, yeah, so okay, so Lynn um for Mrs. H, she's also the person that kinda runs Bag of the Month. So, she's the one that gives a lot of cool tips and tricks. She also does it on Swoon, she gives a lot of tips and tricks, but she was the first person I seen that did that, and I was like, "That is pretty cool." Like, I never would have thought of that. This was, like, 5 years ago. I never would have thought of it or whatever. So, I usually now tell people to do that. But I am that like I said, I implore you and I encourage you to trust your bobbin. And if you don't, this is means that it's time for you to play around until you do. Because your bobbin should be looking just as good as your top stitch thread, and that's why you should be able to trust your bobbin to do your top stitching because it's the same line as the top, and it's supposed to look exactly alike. So, I don't know. I trust my bobbin. If I don't, then me and that machine are gonna work it out until I do. So, you got it. Yeah, the narcissist is fun. I think on Patreon we did it. I don't know if in Patreon we did it as a drop-in or not. I have to go back. I don't know if we birthed it because we did all that to make it look like a Michael Kors thing. We did a lot to the flap, a lot, like a lot. Like it's one of the bags I kept around here on my wall. Like my favorite bags to keep are the Patreon bags with the modifications. So the first bag is the bag that I make by myself without the team with all these modifications to see measurements, additional pieces, the whole 9 yards. And mine's is all blue with rainbow hardware. Well, you think we turned it? Yeah, I was like, I'm trying to I was like, "Did we?" Yeah, I think we did. I left the opening big, and then we birthed the lining, and we did the whole lining, the whole entire lining, the bottom and then the corners. Yes. I think we did a big lining because the top flap had way too many details to get squished. Um, yes. I was like, I had to think. I was like, I don't that was one of my favorite one that's one of my favorite makes. That and the Mabel, like, the Mabel will always have my heart, and don't get me wrong, everyone says the Bianca. The Bianca is nice to me because it does look just like the Michael Kors bag, but that like, I have, like, my more I'm gonna make a Michael Kors section in my Patreon because the the Narcissist bag we made looks exactly like the Michael's Kors too, so, we have a few. Oh, we top stitched. We top When in doubt, Genova will top I love top stitching, so, yeah, top stitching is it's important because the top stitching is really important to the bag because the Michael Kors bag has if no matter what picture you see in angles, it has top stitching all over it. Like, you can even get pictures of, like, in person Michael Kors bag from Google Earth, and it's top stitching all over that bag. So, to get that look, you gotta have that top stitching. And I wanna say I wanna say for my blue bag was the first time I sewed with 210 weight for the top. It was nice. That's what got me addicted to 210 weight, threads. I don't know why. The thicker the thread, the more Nova likes it. I don't know what's wrong with me. Oh, yeah, turning them on the inside. Yeah, so yeah, like my favorite who I don't know who originally did that where you just leave the bottom open and you turn and you birth everything to the lining. Whoever did that, chef's kiss, because that's like my number one thing to do because I think it's just easier on the bag and it's easier on the people that are turning it. Yeah. Narcissus is a big bag. It is. It is a big bag. You could probably fit a small puppy in there if you It is a big bag. I love it though. I actually loved it. That was a good one, and I think one was blue, and the other one I think was black or white because the main Michael Kors one colors that are the most popular are black, and the other one's white. One is with like a matte hardware that is rainbow, and the other one is with a vibrant rainbow. But yes, that was a fun bag to modify. Yeah, it is definitely easier on the hands. You're like, yeah, make this, especially if you're using like Decaville or Decaville Heavy, which I believe we played with a lot of stabilizers for that. So, the hybrid lining is like key for a lot of things. And it's sometimes it just I use the hybrid lining just if I know if I didn't use like a foam or a fleece and I use like a Decaville Light or Profuse or something in there that can be permanently wrinkled, it just helps tremendously not to have those wrinkles on the bag. So there's that. Because I do the hybrid on my hitchhikers too. It's very awkward because the hitchhikers is you have to go in and go like that. It's not exactly fun, but it's easier than trying to like birth through a pocket or something with that because it is a shape of like a case. I mean, it's cool. Like the fact that you were open to it, Nikki, shows what a great designer you are and that you weren't offended. Like sometimes people are like, no, it's my way. Like you think of like think about those designers though. Like I always picture like fashion designers like slapping someone like this is my dress. And like you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. So that is cool. I mean, you could do still both. Like, there are people, all I have to say, let's think of Lola Gate. There are people that still think the original Lola, which as a swoon admin, I've gotta tell you, this is the most talked about subject, and it's hilarious to me. But anyway, there are people that Swoongate Lola is they think the original Lola is better than the modified, and that was the last thing that Alicia did before, you know, Mrs. H bought it. It's the same exact pattern, they're just notches on it so that you can indicate where to stop and start stitching. It's the same exact I have both patterns. So so maybe you can just, like, say, "Hey," like, maybe you can, like, offer 2 files, like, this is the original and this is the modified, and maybe you can put, like, based off a customer's review, this is an easier turn, this version is, the original way, if you're looking to do it the original way, and make the person offer, because I mean, you know, that you just offer them that. Yeah, the Wizardry Retreat is worth every single penny. I s literally, I thought I was like, "If this is what camp was, my parents lied to me all my life, and now I'm super resentful." Like, this I never experienced anything like that in my life, and Yvonne, again, is a ride or die. I just need you to know. No, okay. So Wizardry Tree, the rental machines are Juki. You they could take up to 70 weight thread, or you could do 40. So I don't know if you ever did a Juki TLQ whatever. You have there they could take some of them take 70 weight thread, and you can ask your friend Christine, because Christine has a TLQ 2200. They could take thicker thread. But the thing is with them, they sew beautifully. They sew many layers, and bef but I'll just tell you like this, Nicole from Sonar was a student there last year, and she was sewing on that bad boy, no problem. If you like her work, which you should, and if you've seen her work, that's what she sews on. She makes master bags. I will fight anyone that says anything else, okay? She's a master at what she does. And she was sewing on that bad boy with no problem. That is a beast of a machine. You can sew with 40 weight thread and 70 weight thread. I've sewn on it with 70 weight on the top and matching coordinate thread of 40 weight on the bottom. It's just depending on like if the temperamental of the machine or how you're feeling or whatever. But those machines are baby beasts. And it's just the bags that you're gonna be sewing at them with them are like, for me, you're gonna be sewing, there's a two-parter. You're gonna be sewing, the Mini Magda, and there's gonna be some cool hardware. I'm gonna teach people how to do hardware installation, like, with different magnets or bows and things like that, and you're gonna learn binding, my binding, because apparently in person, that's really important. People like the way I bind, so I'm gonna teach you how to bind. And I'm not too sure what Nikki's teaching, but I'm thinking she's doing the classic zip around wallet because that's what her picture was, and that alone should make you wanna go, okay? And with that, you can sew all the bags on all the things that they're teaching is meant for these machines. So, it's and then you have someone cooking for you around the clock. Like, around when I say she's Melissa can cook. Like, I didn't wanna leave because I was having fun. Melissa could throw down, like, she can and then we have, like, ice cream socials, bingo. There's cute little cabins, questionable lake, that's the same thing. I just like, it's dark. I have this thing with dark water, I don't know. Um, I had the time of my life. I know. Okay. Alright, do that, definitely. Yeah, do just fat threads, like, go for it, it's really fun, and then all the kits are included, so all the teachers all the kits that are part of the teachers are included in the risk retreat. Like, and when I say they're included, they're not like fabrics that you have to cut out. No, like Melissa cuts all of them out and everything. It's like and it's like interface. I'm like, holy shit, can you live with me? I mean, I didn't think I want to marry anyone again, but maybe. You don't leave hungry. You're not left with fusing interfacing on stuff or cutting things out. And like you have snacks, like an endless amount of snacks. Whatever you like to drink. If you like to drink Coke Zero, Dr. Pepper, water, fruit punch, whatever, it's all there nonstop. I don't know. I can't explain it. Like when I'm telling you that I feel like everyone should experience this and then you can come back and tell people, I'm not just saying this, and maybe it's because I haven't experienced a whole lot in my life, but that was like the highlight of my 2024. And the minute they opened up applications, I was literally pacing back and forth to see if I was going to be approved. And I almost cried when she said, "We want you to come back." And it's amazing. It's just an amazing experience. Yeah, it truly is. Like, I don't the cooking alone should make you wanna come. We had, like, gumbo, we had, like, and it's not like store-bought and she's warming it up. No, like, she is cooking steadily while we're teaching, and there's so many people to hands-on, like, so if I'm teaching, there's, like, 5 people helping running around trying to teach, like, help people, like, if you're having trouble with your machine or whatever, like, there's, like, somebody always in the helping you. Like, so when I'm done teaching, I become a helper too. Like, so the next person is teaching, we're all walking around trying to help you. She has like a bin in the middle of the 4 tables that has all rulers, double-sided tape, clips, anything you could think of. Like, there's nothing left to the imagination that you really need except yourself. Like, the kits come with all the hardware, pre-cut fabrics, and everything's adhered. Like, I don't know how. I think she has Harry Potter magic, I'm not too sure. I feel like she does though. So, I'm not I'm not I'm not too sure. I feel like Melissa has bona fide magic. I don't know how she does what she does, and it's a really great experience, and this is why I'm telling you guys, if you have a chance to go to a retreat, go, because then you meet I would have probably never got to meet Yvonne if I didn't go. There's so many people on here that I never had a chance to meet. Like, if I didn't teach at Lawrence, I never would have met her in person. I only would have known her through watching her on YouTube or, like, our interactions, and I got to meet this person. I got to meet her at, like, So Magical, but we never really got to stop and, like, talk, and she's such a cool down person. Like, I got to meet all these people. I got to meet Linz from Lynn's Handmade, and she's amazing. I got to meet Nico from Sonar. She's amazing. I got to finally meet Shannon at like through voice talk and whatever. I finally got to meet her in person. She was amazing. Nikki Kinder is a genius, and I got to meet her. And like it's something that you really need to go to so you can meet people. Like, I follow almost everybody that was in the class from Wizardly and definitely from different retreats that I was on last year, and it's a great experience. I feel like I have real sewing friends in the community that I've met face to face. Like Julie, me and Julie we went to Wizarding World. We we have a bond. We have a bond. And it's it's all through meeting people through these events. So if you have a chance to go to a sewing expo or a retreat or something, go, run, touch grass, because this is how we get to find other people that do the same things that we do, you know? And thank you, Yvonne. Yeah, you won't leave hungry. So I'm about to stuff my face and I will talk to you all tomorrow, and hopefully I'll be able to show you a bag tomorrow. So I hope everyone has a really good day. If you need anything from me, just reach out. Okay? Bye.